The day my father was buried, the sky cried harder than I did. The wind howled through the churchyard, and raindrops clung to the black umbrellas like grief that wouldn't let go. I stood there, holding my mother's trembling hand, watching the casket sink into the ground. People whispered, not about my father's kindness or his legacy, but about her. The woman standing at the front, dressed in black lace and pearls. The one who didn't look like she belonged there. Her name was Sabrina, the Mistress. She didn't shed a tear. Her lipstick didn't smudge. She looked satisfied. And when our eyes met, she gave me a small, cruel smile, the kind that said, "I've already won." That night I sat by the window for hours, listening to the rain, wondering how everything had fallen apart so quickly. My father wasn't perfect, but he was a good man. He loved us, or at least I thought he did. A week later, we were called to the lawyer's office. My mother wore her old gray shawl, the one my father had given her on their 20th anniversary. Her hands shook as she tried to button her coat. I held her close, whispering, "It'll be okay, Mom." Dad wouldn't leave us with nothing, but I didn't believe my own words. When we walked into the office, Sabrina was already there, sitting in my father's chair, smiling. The lawyer, Mr. Hampton, adjusted his glasses and opened a folder. His voice trembled slightly as he began. "I, Richard Moore, being of sound mind and body, hereby leave all my property, business holdings, and assets to Sabrina Collins." My mother's breath caught in her throat. Her eyes filled instantly. And I just sat there, numb. Everything, the company, the house, even my father's savings, gone. Sabrina leaned back, crossed her legs, and whispered, "Your father loved me more than he ever loved you." The room fell silent, except for the sound of my mother crying softly into her hands. Days turned into nights, nights into restless mornings. I couldn't accept it. Something deep inside told me this wasn't right. My father wasn't a man who would abandon his family. So I started searching. I spent hours in his study, going through old files, drawers, boxes, anything. The room still smelled of his cologne and paper ink. Each drawer creaked like it was whispering secrets he'd left behind. Then, one night, I found something. Behind his framed family photo, the one from our beach trip, was a small golden key taped to the back. Tiny, old, engraved with RM 1979. It fit perfectly into the bottom drawer of his desk. Inside were papers, old letters, bank documents, and one sealed envelope. In his handwriting, it said, "For the truth, if I am gone." My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a document. A will, handwritten, dated 2 weeks later than the one Sabrina had presented. And this time, he left everything, to my mother and me. My eyes filled with tears. It was like he had reached out from beyond the grave to protect us. The next morning, I rushed to see Mr. Hampton. He looked at the paper for a long time before speaking. "This is your father's writing," he said quietly. "If this is genuine, then Sabrina forged the other one." My heart pounded. "We can prove it?" I asked. He nodded slowly. "Yes, but it won't be easy." We filed the document in court. The hearing was set for the next week. Those 7 days felt like years. Sabrina was everywhere in my father's car, his office, smiling for cameras as if she was the grieving widow. She even went on television saying, "He wanted me to have it all." His family understands I watched, shaking with anger, but I stayed quiet. Because I had something she didn't. The truth. The day of the hearing finally came. The courtroom was full. Reporters lined the back wall. Everyone was there to see the drama unfold. Sabrina walked in wearing white, like an angel of lies. My mother and I sat side by side. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. Grief had already taught us silence. The judge began reading the first will. Sabrina smiled. Then, when the judge looked up and asked, "Does the family have anything further to present?" I stood up. "Yes, Your Honor," I said. I held up the sealed envelope. "This is my father's real will." The courtroom gasped. Sabrina's smile faltered. The judge ordered the document to be examined. Handwriting experts compared the signatures. They matched perfectly. The second date was verified, 2 weeks newer than hers. There was no doubt. My father's real intentions were clear. He had changed his mind. He had chosen us. Sabrina's face turned pale. Her voice cracked as she screamed, "No! That's not true. He promised me everything." The judge's tone hardened. "Miss Collins, this court believes you forged a legal document." The room fell silent. Sabrina sank into her chair, shaking her head, her carefully crafted world collapsing around her. Tears streamed down my mother's face. I took her hand. We had